What's up, guys? Just give me a second. I'm still rounding up everything I need, but I'm gonna be working on decal on the jug today. Got to go get some water. Hopefully this is a good enough view. So I've already done all of the bottom side decals and the top side decals specific to the plane I'm doing. I'm gonna wait on the side profile just because of the fact that I don't want to handle where I'm gonna be touching and accidentally ripping the decals off. And the last time I was working on the bottom side decals, I got those, or excuse me, the top side, no. Yeah, top side decals, I've got those all done. And so now I got all the stencil markings that are on the bottom. Hopefully y'all can hear me. But I like to just kind of work my way around one wing going to the other. Got on my, sorry about that, decal sitting here. And typically if I can do a paired decal, I'm going to. So in this case, no step ones for the doors. Out here. So I'll go ahead and do those ones first. I forgot tweezers. That might help. So my decal choice, since I'm doing Tamiya kit, use the Tamiya Mark Fit Strong. Tamiya decals usually end up being such a pain in the butt that I ended up buying the Tamiya specific, and we'll see if that makes a difference. I might potentially, nope. Okay. So just a little dab of the setter on both sides. If I'm doing anything different than what you guys do as far as decals go, let me know. I'm always down to learn. This is the way that my dad approached decal. Oh, I just lost the door. approach decals on models. So that's just kind of the same way I've stuck to it. And it's probably not the most efficient method, I'm sure. Guess the only problem with doing decals on stream is it's a little hard to make out what I'm actually even working on, but there we go. So that takes care of both of those. 86. There's a lot more decals on this model than I actually figured there'd end up being. I thought I was going to sit down and one quick easy afternoon decal the whole thing and be done. And instead I spent one afternoon just doing like the top surface of the wings. And you can hear my dogs going crazy. Sorry about that. Okay, so these go down along the bottom of the wheels on the actual wheel cover. To the rear. So basically pointing right at the very middle of the wheel. Fiddly little decals. I was hoping to get you guys a better perspective, but unfortunately I'm also blocking the way. My tripod doesn't go high enough to look over my shoulder. I want to see if I can figure something else out as far as setting it up on my desk, kind of back there. My computer monitor is sitting right above my keyboard. And it'd be nice if I can find a way to put it up there. Alright, so that's those two. I always keep a pen handy as I'm building. I always cross off anything I do as I do it, so like we can see the decals that I have done, because I lose my mind too quickly. So continuing on, the next decal, 47. It's all the way over here on the side. Just set it inside the door.
You got 2 of them.
So normally I sit at a desk behind me, my actual modeling desk. You can see it sitting over there. That light behind me is probably way too much. Let me get that. I didn't realize how bright that was. So yeah, over there is my actual desk, but it's not optimal at the moment for doing any sort of streaming. So I thought I'd bring you guys over to my computer desk. Normally I have a wax candle warmer that I set my bowl of water on to keep the water nice and toasty while I'm working on decals. Of course, I got to turn it on and off because it does get too hot. Okay, so this one sits somewhere around here. There's really nothing there to like actually locate off of. Now this actually brings an interesting question. Maybe someone can answer for me. On the decals, stencil markings on the bottom side of a plane, would the wording face like this one here that I just put on? You guys probably not gonna be able to see that. Would the lettering be placed such that, like in this view, it's readable? Or would it be such that if you were standing in front of the plane, looking down underneath it, it'd be readable? What's up, John? Because that's one of those things I've never known, and I just kind of assume that it would be such that if you're standing at the front of the plane looking under, you'd be able to read it even though it's up above you. All right, next one, 105. I'm sorry for my gigantic fro being in the way, guys. This is why I need to figure out a way to get my camera up higher above me. So many decals. I'm not even seeing this number. Oh. It's the big old one. Okay. So I don't plan on being on too terribly long today. Since I work a 3rd shift job, it's actually about an hour away from me having to head to bed, but I wanted to attempt to set up. I'm using my digital SLR, as you can see, to record what I'm doing down here. Wanted to try and get that working and kind of play with it and see with my streaming software that I'm using as well. Also, as you can tell, I've got me over there. I'm using my laptop's webcam. Thought it'd be nice to give you guys both perspectives. You can see the ugly mug while I'm working on it as well. All right, so this one sits just beside the gusset plate down here. It's a tight one to get to, only because I put the wheeling gear on already. Oh man, that decal's not even close to ready. Okay, we'll go ahead and get the next decal ready as well. So, hope you all liked the video I put up yesterday. I know it's taken me forever. Been running into some problems with my laptop. It's getting ready to take it out to the pasture at this point. It's getting old enough. And the software I use to actually edit my videos, I use a Adobe Premiere Rush. It pays, you know, I have to pay $10 a month to use it, but I love how quick and easy it makes for doing all of my video editing, you know, between the intro and the outros and cutting between the scenes and everything. It's such easy piece of software to use. Yeah, I definitely need to go live more. It's unfortunate because my free time is early mornings because I get off work at 6:30 a.m. and then I'm up usually until about noon Eastern time. So unfortunately, my times to go live to be able to do so is generally when people are at work. And I've been watching Woody's models. He's been doing some live streaming lately and trying to catch those more. Been able to catch pieces here and there. Live usually on the weekend. Yeah, and that'd probably be obviously the most opportune time. Be live on the weekends, but again, like my weekend as of this morning is up. I have Thursday and Friday nights off, and then Saturday nights I go back to work. I mean, I guess for the people that work from home, they might be able to watch a little easier. The remote from home people these days. Okay. You guys liking the jug so far, though? It's been on the bench too long, and I was like, I want to get it done. I'm going to be curious when I get down to decaling because there's like I'll show you here, the Little Chief. It's a 2-part decal, so this ring here goes around the edge of the red and then creates the white background for the Little Chief. And be interesting to see how close I got that red ring around there. I went and made a photocopy of my decal sheet and cut it out and kind of worked it around there, so I should be pretty close. But I won't find out, I guess, until I go to... Okay, so this one sits just beside the external fuel tank mount. What's up, Jerry? So what kind of models do you work on, John? I guess I haven't looked at your channel. I'm kind of guilty. I've been falling behind on watching some YouTube videos lately. I've got too much that I'm trying to watch and too little time, it seems. Here, one of the dogs downstairs getting yelled at. Oh, that's a shame, Jerry. Cars, yeah. Well, cars is one of those things that every once in a while I get in the real mood to build some cars. And as you've seen on that unboxing video of the Lone Star in the trailer, that one's definitely, there's some cars coming. I want to actually get this done to clear some space on the desk. I've also got, actually I can show you all real quick. Just yesterday, I started painting the mine roller. I started getting the lower surface, and I started to go up here with some of it, but I realized I got to get the canvas done up because there's some photo etch that fits. I've got all these little tabs on now and stuff, but there's more piping and stuff that I need to get done and around here, and like these cleats and stuff like that for the spare tracks. So I stopped painting on that, but I did get that one going, so we're pushing it. Oh, and I forgot there's grills still back here, so I stopped my painting while I finished building, apparently. And then, of course, the MRAP Have a good one, Jerry. MRAP I've got to dig out, but I'm really digging get back into some cars. Oh, to me it does not make this easy. They didn't lay the decals out and the very, the numbers are all over the place. So this one's a doubled up again. So let me look and see. Yeah, the same spot on both sides. So I'll go ahead and do both these at once. Oh, cool. Yeah, my airbrushing skills lack. I mean, it works in my favor that how terrible I am with my airbrush. I can't do fine lines. Maybe I need to, if you're recording that, I'll have to go back and watch that later. I don't know if I'm trying to rush my airbrushing or if I'm trying to use too high of air pressures all the time or what, but I definitely, my finishes look good only because of it. I screwed it up, I feel. I watch some people and I'm like, holy cow, that's great. Need to invest in some new tweezers one of these days. This pair of tweezers, I bent the tip of them pretty bad and decals like to stick. Paints, it kind of varies. I use a lot of Tamiya, of course, and Mr. Color, the enamel ones, not the acrylic. I use a lot of those as well. Yeah. Oops. Those are my main two. I started using Mr. Paint a little bit, MRP or whatever, and I've got a little bit of Vallejo. I just have a variety. Usually I end up going whatever the instructions call out, unless it's like Humbrol or Model Master / Testers. I'll convert those to other brands, but usually I just go with whatever they say. I just find it easier. Car exteriors especially, I've been using Zero Paints. I find those pretty good. Expensive, but they look pretty darn good. Alright, next up is Decal 59, which again is a matched pair, so I'll do those both at the same time. Oh, goodness. See, that's probably part of my problem. I pre-mix my Tamiyas like Andy does right out of the jar. I just fill it up to the line with the, at least with the Tamiya ones. And the Mr. Colors, I kind of just mix until I feel like it's a good ratio in the jar. I don't know. I think I prefer having the pre-mix. But I always think I always feel like I over thin them, but then they like clog up my airbrush. So honestly, I think I mix too thick and then get frustrated because it doesn't want to spray. I mean, even the Mr. Mr. Color ones, I can usually about go to the top of the jar and it seems to give a pretty good, but like I noticed their metallics especially, I do not mix much at all into them because they already seem very thin. And I'm trying to think which one it was. With the La France fire truck I did for my brother, I think I over thinned the super silver. I think it was. It was so far gone that I ended up having to just buy another bottle and like mix them half and half to get it. See, 30 psi. See, I've always been told like 20, and I find I better get better results at 30. Up, with a higher. But everyone's like, you should only have to shoot at 20, so that's what makes me feel like I'm doing everything wrong. All right. So this one, it's the fourth door in from each side. So there and there. I know, I'm trying to think of which one it was. One of the paints that I had, I was at like 50 psi and I couldn't even get it through. That was obvious that I had it too thick, but I ended up clogging the airbrush so badly that I had to spend an hour or so cleaning it out. I think that might have been the first time I ever used that might have been Mr. Surface Leveler. I think I didn't thin it at all. I was like, well, this looks like it's good to go. Shoot 20 only if it's all ready for airbrush. Okay, see, so that makes more sense because I've always heard just shoot at 20. And the airbrush ready ones, yeah, they're super thin, and that's why I figure that I'm doing something wrong. Boy, the decal is so small, I can't even tell if the text is the right way around or not. Okay, well, this decal 99 is mirrored on both sides, so I'll go ahead and do that one as well. AK Metal Extreme. I don't know if that's the one I've got or not. No, this is one I've grown real fond of lately. Is the Vallejo acrylic metal color? Actually, I've never used the AK ones, but I bought a bottle of this, the steel, and a bottle of the silver in this, and I think by far they're my favorite metal ones at the moment. I thought that I like the Mr. Color ones, but I definitely think I like those Vallejo ones better, which is funny because, most people, they dog on Vallejo, and I found those, at least those metal ones, really, really good for airbrushing, even paint brushing. All right, and this one goes on the first door on each side. Yeah, I've only ever used all clad once. The Revell, the Skymaster, the C54 Skymaster, I used it on that for the natural metal finish, and I hated the finish. But then I also learned later that you're supposed to use a glossy black base coat for it. So I've never done a bare metal airplane since then. I've got the Edward P51. Yeah, the one that they did the limited edition, the Chattanooga Choo Choo. And I want to do that one, obviously, bare metal when I get to that, and that's something I'm going to have to address. See, and that was my experience with the all-clad, actually. It was that it wasn't durable. I scratched the paint so quick and easy. I mean, I'm terrible about priming models and cleaning the sprues and whatnot. I know they said it's not as needed anymore versus the old days where you had all the mold release stuff. But I scratched the crap out of the all-clad real easy, and I mean, you might be able to see it here, but on the bottom here, I pulled up a bit of paint, but we'll call that weathering. That's what I do with all my mistakes like that. I mean, there's chips along the top of the fuselage on this even, and since I don't do weathering. All right, decal 50, almost done with the one side. I'll probably do the rest of the bottom decals and then seal them all in and call it a day. So if you see decal 50, call it out. It's got to be over here sitting. Nope. Oh yeah, there it is. That's my other issue. I should probably wear gloves more once I've got paint on. My hands have always been like really oily, no matter how many times I wash them, and I feel like I get oil all over the surface and screw up the finishes and stuff like that. I mean, I see it on planes when I'm done. Maybe I'll have to dig out that Skymaster sometime and show you guys that one, because that was a pretty fun one. It's got to get dusted anyways. I need to... Been meaning to go through and actually retake photos of all my models, because there's some old, like 72nd Academy models that I want to just donate to the old trash bin. Nobody in my family would want them or anything like that. I mean, they were my first models when I got back into the hobby. They were crappy. They didn't look good. And kind of just make some space on my shelf for some of these newer models that I've definitely spent some time and make quality products of. It's durable. Maybe I'll have to get some. I've looked at them I don't know how many times, and I've just kind of skipped over them. Because for the Lone Star, I need a chrome paint. I bought all clad. Funny enough, chrome for that Lone Star when I do that, and even then, based on my previous experience, I didn't really want to use the all clad. So it might be one of those I just look at some, AK. I was wanting to get a variety of chrome paints actually, and kind of do the old spoon test. Oh geez, been around the block, that's for sure. I bet you enjoy the newer stuff, especially these days compared to the old days. Alright, so I've got a stab myself with my tweezers. 56 Ford pickup that I've been kind of working on and off for my brother-in-law. He's actually got a 56 Ford, and I want to model after his, so that he's got like a mini of his actual truck. But considering the mold was originally made in, I think it said 1964 when I looked it up on ScaleMates, it's frustrating because nothing fits well, and I guess I'm fortunate enough to be one of those spoiled by the new kids on the block, like the Tacoms and Ryefield and stuff like that. 64. Well, that's a big one. it's the final decal on this side. Let me grab some soup hair glue real quick to fix. So I think this is the second or third time this door has popped off on me now. Definitely my favorite super glue for working on models. It dries quick, and I never really had any messes, and there we go. I was actually surprised the wheel fits in there pretty good, and then the doors actually kind of hold the wheel in more on the back there. Okay. So this sits approximately there-ish. Hey, it's good to have some old school people around. Teach us young pups something new. I definitely love doing some of the old school cars and stuff though too. I'm a big fan of the Camaros especially, but I'm a little biased on that one anyways. So that's what I drive. All right, let's get the decals for the retired. Oh man, I'd love to be retired. I'd love to spend my days working on models. Oh, there's a big difference in numbers there. That's 94. And 93. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna jumble y'all for a minute. Scoot you a little more so you're not staring at the top of my head so much. I know doing decals isn't exactly the most easy thing to see. Okay, so 93 is on my side. Yeah, I agree. The great thing though about a hobby like models and stuff is that like when they start talking about shutting everything down and lockdowns and everything like that, and people were suddenly like, oh my god, I need a hobby. I was like, I've been preparing for this one for years. I was like, I've got enough paint and models and everything like that it's not going to bother me. But it does suck because, like, I love going out parks and doing photography and stuff like that. So, you know, it's made some of that a little more of a hassle because I can't go and spend all day and then go sit down at a restaurant on my way home or anything like that. And hopefully this summer it'll change. Because of where I work at, I try to stay Yeah, that's my biggest thing. I haven't seen my grandmother in about a year now, and because she's well up there in age, and I work in retail, so I'm dealing with a lot of the boneheaded people out there, and for her safety, I've chose to stay away. Basically, I mean, it sucked that night couldn't even see her come Christmas, but I figure staying away if it means, I'd rather stay away if it means she gets to live another day and not die from it. And at some point, once all the restrictions ease up, I'll have one heck of a party. So those ones for the tail wheel are done. Uh, and I know everyone's got their own different stance on it and everything like that, but I'm like, I hate wearing the mask as well as the next person does, but it's one of those where it's just like, you know what, just shut up, wear it. If everybody do their part, we probably already could have been past this. And now that the vaccine's rolling out, I'm waiting on my turn, my chance to be able to go get the vaccine. And I know people have mixed opinions on that as well, of course, but I'll be ecstatic to be able to go get mine. So I guess while those decals are soaking. There's the chassis of that 56 Ford. I got to get to my brother's. I don't know if he actually has the frame of his painted black or not. It's great because I know his truck, it just painted it a primer, so it'll be easy to do that, a gray primer. And I had started to prime the bed, and I ran out and I had to leave. Had to hurry up and wash up my airbrush and leave. But the wood is one of those things that I know Jerry from Woody's Models, he has a video on doing that, and I'm gonna have to watch that because I suck at wood textures and stuff like that. See kind of how he does it. And haven't done much with the cab. I've kind of cleaned it up, built the doors. Hopefully you guys don't lose me. YouTube's complaining that my internet's not fast enough. That was one of those things that I feared as well. As I live pretty rural area, and internet around here is not that great. Based on some rumors that I've seen that should change later this summer. But once you live amongst the Amish, basically, can't expect much. The Amish obviously aren't going to pay for internet, and they're not going to pay for the infrastructure, and rightfully so. And the only problem is I suffer. Oh yeah, that would definitely suck. That's one thing I'm thankful. Other than two family members, everybody lives within 10-15 minutes of where I live. Just a few more decals on the bottom side. Usually once I'm done with the decals, I like to go back with the strong stuff and hit them all again with that. I know some of them are sitting on flat surfaces anyways, but I just like to have that extra to make sure. I got to go over these roundels yet again because they still haven't settled into the mini cracks. If they settle down a little bit more, I'll be able to hit, score them. And actually, right inside here, there's more of these, like, the ejection ports on both sides that I need to open up. And this side, it actually covers over the one marker. Yeah, I agree. Who's actually responsible for it, we'll never know. None of us peons. We could sit and blame China all day long, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't us that released it into China or some other country that released it into China. It's sad because they don't realize whomever it was that is ultimately responsible for it doesn't realize the number of people they've killed because of it. Or they probably don't care, I guess, for that matter. Oh, that's another one of these. Yeah, I agree. Calling of the week, quote unquote, I actually had it back in October, I want to say, the time frame. I was out for 2 weeks, but thankfully, other than getting tested and the test saying positive, which I still kind of think that was manipulated, in their favor to make everything look worse. I had no. I mean, I had a little bit of a cough, but I've suffered from, like bronchitis every winter since 2010 or so. And so even when I had it, I didn't think nothing of it because, again, I mean, it's just, that's something I've dealt with forever. Everyone said that the loss of taste and smell, well, I never had that issue at all. I was able to taste my food just fine and not once ever wasn't able to smell. I was like, I guess I'll consider myself lucky, I guess. had the same. Had it mild or? Oh man, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Four cousins. That's crazy. That's why every time I hear about any of these deaths, it's just like, again, it comes back to, I know nobody wants to wear a mask, of course, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, how many deaths can we have prevented potentially had everybody just done so? All right, I've got 3 more decals left, surprisingly. There's quite a few of them on the bottom. Not sure what happened to this one. I think the was right there. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna be able to get close enough to it. But it I don't know if the numbering or something. Another from a decal trash in my water came off and affected that one or what. But it's kind of janky. Oh man. See, and that's the thing. They talk about how it only affects. It's mainly the older, especially, and in their 20s. That's crazy. I can definitely tell my water is getting cold at this point. Go ahead and put the last of the decals in to get them going. And number 70. Should go change out my water, but I've only got one left to cut out. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Ooh. Just a couple decals left to finish up here. So this one goes this way around. Oh, that one slid crooked, that's for sure. See if we can't get it with the tweezers. There we go. So that is that one. Okay, where's this little door at? There it is. Some tiny, tiny little decals on the bottom side here. Definitely need to find a better camera angle for you guys next time. Maybe I'll try over my shoulder here to the left now that I got a longer cable as well. And that concludes those. All the decals on the bottom side are finished. It's probably pretty hard to see any of them, but they're all there. So I'll hit them all with the Mark Fit Strong now to make sure they're set in good. Grab me a... So I use these a lot. I like to put pieces and stuff in little solo cups. I keep them contained, and then obviously this larger sheet that I still have I'll stick back in the bag, but I just find it helps me keep a little more organized and less likely to lose little bits. So, I know it wasn't a very long session today. A lot of it I had to iron out some problems with my camera. It didn't want to work. Mark off those decals. Didn't even need my knife, surprisingly. But yeah, I know it wasn't a very long session this time. Said I was having problems getting my computer to detect my DSLR. Had to go find a different cable for that. And then it picked it up right away. So I'm going to have to go to the wall of Marts. And pick up a new micro USB cable. So that the next time I can not have to deal with this problem. So I'm just giving a quick soaking all the decals with Mark Fit Strong to get them to adhere nice and tight to the surface. Alright, and I shall put this off to the side to dry. So as always, you know, I said I know it wasn't a very long stream. I don't know if I'm going to be able to knock down a schedule of live streams just because my household is pretty hectic as far as, I mean, it's loud in most mornings because babysitting kids that are here, dogs, other people, and so on. So I would like to start doing at least one live stream a week. I'd like to get better, more consistent at my videos and everything in general so that I can bring you guys content. And the purpose of establishing this is at some point I want to be able to record an overhead view of me like this working on my models so that I can do build logs, because that was one of the reasons I launched this channel. I wanted to do build logs. The way I was doing them, I wasn't particularly fond of, and I think a format like this is better, but I need to be able to find a way to set a camera up permanently looking down So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I know there wasn't much, but I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.